What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today we're here with our brother Kweku. Now he's going to talk to us about real estate. Some of you, who are looking to get property. Those of you who want to go to Ghana, and also some of you that would like to go to Nigeria. This is the brother that we need to talk to ask him about the process of how that happens. So, brother, thank you for joining us on the show today.
A real pleasure. Thank you for having me.
All right, brother. So how long you been in real estate?
So the company Seso I've been with for about 3 years now, but have generally been operating in the African sort of space for about 5 years before that.
Okay, so when it comes to real estate, and I'm gonna get right into it. People that's coming from the diaspora that may want to buy a home in Ghana or Nigeria. Because see, here in America, we have a certain process. So, our processes is definitely gonna be a lot different than what's going on in Ghana, right? So
Yeah.
The one thing I need to know, because here in the US, you go through the process, you get financing from the bank, and then you put the down payment, pay payments a month. Do they have that process in Ghana or through your company, or do you have to buy it straight out cash? What's the process?
No, excellent question. So I'll start off the bat that the mortgage sector in the continent of Africa is not a large one. So before the crash in the States, 70 the mortgage market was about 70% of the GDP of the United States. Now it probably is about 50%. In Ghana and Nigeria, it's 1% each, right? Which is crazy, right? Which shows you the mortgage market is not as big as sort of efficient as it should be. Many reasons for this, but for those that are looking for mortgages, yes, you can find a mortgage, but there are some stipulations and requirements, at least today. So most banks in Ghana and Nigeria require that you have to have some type of affiliation to the country. So with Ghana specifically, you would either have to have been married to a Ghanaian, your parent or grandparent perhaps was Ghanaian, or maybe you've lived in Ghana for about 5 years. So this is for those that are foreigners, quote unquote. Obviously, our African American brothers and sisters are not necessarily foreigners, but technically, yes, they are. So there are some sort of vehicles that are being created for this. And this is an opportunity for banks out there. So there's a UK bank that provides mortgages to those in the UK to buy property in Nigeria today. It's called FCMB Bank UK. That's a partner of ours. And so we're continuously seeking banking partners, especially those, African American banks out there. The opportunity is there to structure a product, a financing product with us, who are your trusted partners, Seso Global, to provide the customer abroad, especially in the States, with a seamless process to purchase property here. But no, today it's usually cash buy. The developers at times as well will provide you with payment plans. So these are basically, in a sense, 0% loans where you can purchase a property typically 1 to 3 years. It doesn't usually go above 3 years. You can pay incrementally over that time for a property. There are what we call the property developers here in Ghana and Nigeria that provide that opportunity. So we find that most of our customers today are cash buyers, and if they do, sometimes use that payment plan to sort of soften the payment process for them.
So the people, because people coming from the US, for them to buy a home, $100,000, $200,000 cash, some people got it like that, but I'm talking about people who don't have it like that. So let's talk about that payment situation. You say 1 to 3 years. So what's the process of doing that?
Yeah, so typically this process usually comes with like off-plan homes. So off-plan being that the building hasn't been built yet. The site is there, and then basically as you pay, the building will be built over that time, right? And so so you can pay, so you can stretch the payments however It can be maybe 50, 25, 25, and sort of 25 at the end over a year. So let's say you pay 10% upfront, and then you can pay incrementally every month or every quarter or every sort of other year you can pay. So it really depends on the developer and how they're willing to stretch it out. And sometimes they're also happy to negotiate this as well, especially for those abroad, right? And so it really just depends on the developer. But yeah, it can be stretched out, and most developers are doing this now because they find that there's a real need for it. And obviously, as you mentioned, not everybody has got it like that to pay upfront, right? For the property. Although if you do, obviously, you can also get a discounted price, right?
Okay, so you pay your 10% upfront, let's say to the builder. Now the land itself, you own the land, right?
Yes. So you going through us as Seso will make sure that all these sort of obviously all these things are buttoned out and tightened up. But as you pay, so it's at the end of the payment that the final sort of documentation will be provided to you, right? That's pretty standard here as well, right? The developer isn't going to give you the documentation until you finish payment, right? But I mean, it's something that's quite normal here today, and it's something that had to be developed by the developers because the mortgage market is not as fantastic as it could be. I mean, one of the reasons for this is the mortgage market, really in terms of rates, can go as high as 30% on the local currency, right? On the dollar, it can go to about 11% or half of 15%, which is
That's
still,
high.
yeah, it's still crazy high, right? And so, if you're not being paid in dollars, obviously, living here in Ghana, I would not recommend taking the dollar mortgage. Even those who are paid in cities, I mean, 30%, you're basically buying another house with that money. So it's not a common thing. I know it's quite common in the States and in the West, and it's something that we're working heavily to sort of really address with some of the local banks as well. Some of our local bank partners want to create mortgages as well for the diaspora, especially. But I think even as low as they can go, it's probably 11%. So the opportunity, in a lot of ways, is out there for banks in the States who are sort of financing companies to provide products, because as you've mentioned, there are a lot of folks who do want to come back to the continent, right? And so creating that seamless product and approach for them is a big opportunity and something that we're heavily exploring with some banks right now, and we'll continue to do so.
Okay, and it's the same process. Let's say you mentioned about condos and apartments.
Sorry, I didn't get that last question.
I say
Condos
the
and
condos and apartments. Like, what is the
yeah.
process about that? Let's say a person say, you know what, I don't want a house, but I want a condo. Like for instance, that's something that interests me as a condo because let's say you're going back and forth between let's say Ghana, and you're going back and forth between Ghana and the U.S. and you want to have maybe a condo, something that's in the inside, something that's real nice. Do y'all also offer condos?
100%, 100%. And so we found that to be a sort of a great product as well, especially for those that don't necessarily know that they're gonna live in Ghana, work in Ghana, but want a home away from home, and also for those that are looking for investment opportunities. So the hub of Accra has become obviously quite popular to in terms of tourism, right? It's become one of the big hubs out there, and so a lot of investors understanding this, are purchasing condos and apartments within sort of the key areas of Accra, which are usually areas quite close to the airport, places called East Legon cantonments. These are names I'll ring true to those that know. Yeah, there are lots of condos that we sort of offer now, sort of for purchase, and even there are lots of condos coming up as well, and maybe cheaper to purchase off plan as well, as I mentioned before, right? So yeah, that's certainly something that we do, and we found a lot of uptake with that from those in the diaspora, especially.
A condo, I believe, would be maybe a little bit more attractive at times than a home for some people. But like you said, unless you're going to be there 100% of the time, then a home I don't think is attractive. I think condos and real nice apartments is real attractive because you could leave, come back. Let's say you want to own multiple condos in the continent. Let's say you wanted one in Ghana, you wanted one in Nigeria. Well, at least you don't have to worry about the upkeep of the yard and all the things that go on with the house.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. I lived in Toronto before, and so I understand sort of the condo living, and it's exactly that. Obviously, there are some restrictions with living in a condo, living with people, but at the end of the day, the condominium will take care of the property. There will be homeowners sort of agreements as well that our lawyers can run you through as well. Make sure that your property is well managed as well, and of course, you can also utilize it on Airbnb. But I will say as well that there are folks as well that are also sort of actively looking for beach land as well. So sort of beachfront land as well. That's something that we found is also sort of a big update, especially from the African American sort of cohort as well. And so there's land in areas called Pram Pram and Kukrubite. Some people even want land further out from Accra in a place called Cape Coast, which is very known to most African Americans, almost becoming a little African American city on its own, because that's where the slave castle is. And so lots of people, when they come to Accra, the capital, they almost always go to the castle. And so I have become quite sort of used to that area as well. And some want to sort of stay there as well, have a home away from home there. And so we found that to be something as well that lots of people are gravitating towards.
Yeah, definitely. Many people go to want to see what our ancestors went through. And just everybody. I haven't been to there at the castle yet. I plan on it, but because I want to make a West Africa tour because I want to hit a bunch of countries. But from what people have told me, that they definitely feel the spirits of our ancestors in there. That's a extremely sad thing. So the properties on in Cape Coast themselves. And I know our brothers and sisters want to be on the beach. I mean, shoot, I feel them. I want to do the same thing one day as a property on the beach. Are those properties, like, what are you looking like in terms of price? Is it affordable? Is it really expensive? What are we looking at?
Yeah, so it really just depends on where. So in the capital, Accra, it's I kind of like almost impossible to find beachfront land. Just this is just due to the fact that the land sort of has been utilized by the local folks for a while, the fishermen community as well. And so for those looking for land on the beach, it's best to look either east or west from Accra. So this would be the Pram Pram is about an hour and a half from Accra, a place called Kukrubite, which is also about an hour and a half from Accra, and then you can go out from there. And obviously, as you move further and further out from Accra, the land becomes a lot cheaper. So it can go as low as as low as $2,000 for a plot of land, which is about 70 by 100 meter, 70 by 100, or can go as high as 150,000 for a fully built home for you in Pram Pram, right? So it really can go, and it depends on how it's being structured as well. So we always recommend people buy from us because unfortunately there have been inefficiencies in the system and that you can be scammed. I want to be very upfront with your audience about this. And so very important to go through reputable sources. So when you see a deal that is maybe too good to be true, very, very important to sort of come to the right people, and we can assist you to do the right checks and searches to ensure everything is done right. But that price range is possible. And even in Cape Coast, it can be even much cheaper. Maybe with the African American influx, it'll go up, but it's quite cheap land there. You can get anything from like $2,000 to $10,000 dollars, right, on a plot of land, right? And by the water. And obviously, depending on who you buy from. So there, like I mentioned, $150,000 home can be built for you in Prom. This is a gated community. You know, all the roads, the roads are being set up, the water is being set up, everything has been set up, right? Uh, um, this is not always the case with some of the plots that I'm talking about here, right? Where you can buy something and really in the middle of nowhere, but sort of can be obviously a very good price, but then you would have to then maybe sort of set up a borehole, make sure electricity is connected there, maybe even create your road network to that place as well. And so it really just depends on where you're buying from. But I always recommend buying it with a developer if you can, or sort of seeking sort of professionals' help like ourselves before making such a purchase, because you can be scammed.
Yes, and just the thing I tell people all the time: if you definitely you're going to go to the continent, anywhere, it's even here in America, you don't have to go that far. Get with reputable people. You know, also now in your business, because I believe in when you're dealing with a realtor, but also, you know, do you have? I know you mentioned an attorney. What you have, like real estate attorneys? That's what you guys.
Yeah, I mean, in every country we seek to first work with credible land developers.
Mm-hmm.
First and foremost, we do our DD on these developers to ensure they have the right documentation. We go check the property, check the land, make sure everything is on the up and up. But then as well, we seek to work with credible lawyers. So the law of the land in Ghana and Nigeria states that when you register your land, you have to register with a lawyer. I will be very frank and say not everybody does this. You can probably do it, but if you do go through a court battle, they will ask you, did you go through a conveyance? Did you go through a lawyer? And so we seek to work with credible lawyers, right? These are lawyers that have been sort of, we've done our due DD on as well, and we'll provide you with the right knowledge, insight, and do the checks, the extra due diligence checks on the property, right? To check the title, check the home ownership, check if any ground rent has been paid on it. Is this property being legally challenged in the courts? You know, all of these elements, the lawyer will be asked to do that on your behalf to ensure that everything is okay. And you know, for us, you know, if a client comes, even though we really want that sale, if a client goes through the process and then the land is found to be encumbered, we're going to advise the client not to sort of follow through the process, right? Follow through the payment. So for us, our trust and transparency is really key here, and that's really what we want to provide to our clients here. We're not saying anything is perfect. I don't think it's perfect anywhere, but we do want to ensure that we're providing our clients with a trusted guidance to ensure that when you're making such a big purchase, they're making it in a trusted manner.
Now, last question I have for you. Every country is different with what I'm about to say. Is the land freehold or is it lease? And if it's lease, how many years?
Yeah, so I'm more versed in Ghana law, but even in Nigeria, I understand the government owns, especially the governors in Nigeria specifically. The governor is the de facto owner of the land there. In Ghana as well, there is freehold and there is leasehold. Most of the land you will find is leasehold. I know the language typically, especially for Americans, is not something that they would like to hear. But this is something that the law dictates and has stated, right? And for a leasehold, foreigners can only own up to 50 years, and then it's renewable. But the process for renewing is usually the question that comes up. It's a very easy process. And really, the price for that renewal or even the calculation, the formula for it can be set up in the agreement, right, before you sign. It's something that I ask anyone who does this has to make sure that that is stipulated in the initial agreement. And you know, the price can go really anywhere from $1,000 to let's say 10,000. You know, depending on what you're buying, how much land, and where the land is situated, right? So it's not something really to be sort of nervous about in any way. It's a normalcy here in Ghana, and it's something that is pretty much standard across, and very easy to renew. I just renewed some land right now. Very easy to do, and no one should be really nervous about that process.
Okay, because I had talked to a realtor in Kenya. I know their rules were if you wasn't a citizen of Kenya, it was like 99-year lease, but only citizens could have freehold. So if a person becomes a citizen or a permanent resident, then it can be freehold, or it's still the same. It doesn't matter.
No, yeah, Ghanaians can own freehold or own or lease up to 99, or even actually can even lease more than that as well. If depending on who they're leasing from, right? But if you're leasing from government, a Ghanaian citizen can only lease up to 99 years. And it's important to also understand who owns land in Ghana. And so at the top is the government. The government owns a lot of state lands that they can lease to someone or joint venture with someone to build on these properties, or they can also potentially sell, although very rarely. And then as well, there are chiefdoms. So the Ashanti Kingdom, the Gangbe Kingdom, there are chiefdoms that own land as well, and they could potentially sell, but they typically these days like to lease, right? As well. And then as well, there are families as well that have owned land for generations, and they also potentially can also sell or lease you the land as well, right? And then sort of finally the property developers who also could potentially own, or they would lease the land and then sublease it to you as well. And so I typically ask people if especially those are property developers are probably the most efficient, most efficient and easy way sort of to buy property today because they have done the due diligence on the land and are basically just subleasing to you. And so the liability is with them, right? Not with you as well. And so it makes it a much seamless process. But you can get property from all these other sources as well.
Okay. All right. So tell people, they interested in everything. How can they get to your website? And on that website, they can contact you and everything. So let us know.
Yeah. So well, first of all, I'll say I'm always available on LinkedIn. My name is Kweku Essien, Kweku, last name Essien. And you can always find me on LinkedIn there as well. I do serve as VP of Partnerships for Seso, and always looking to chat with those interested in property in Africa. But as well, you can find the website easily enough, www.seso, which is SESO .global, GLOBAL, www.seso.global, and you can sort of run through the website, find a property, you can make a request there, and one of our agents will get to you and sort of contact you. We have agents in the States, agents in the UK, and agents locally, of course, as well, that can sort of call you and then really walk you through that process as well. And that's really what we're hoping to do. And we hope to do a whole property tour. Obviously, travel has been limited a bit, although it's quite opened up quite a bit, and I've seen lots of your African American folks there who are here working from home in Ghana, which has been very interesting for me to see. But we do hope to do property tours as well next year as well, and you're invited as well, of course. And we'd love to sort of have more people come through and sort of really take ownership of the land there in the continent. I really truly believe that it is for all sort of those of all African descendants, and really this is your land. Obviously, you respect the people there, but you come there and bring your value as well to it. And so, yeah, looking forward to sort of speaking with anyone interested and doing more on the continent.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So any of you who are interested in possibly looking into, maybe want to make Ghana, your home, your second home, or your all the way new home, right? Or Nigeria, use that contact information, contact the brother and their agents, and they'll get you definitely some more information. But brother, thanks for joining us on the show today, and educating us on what we need to do about getting property in Ghana.